Hey everyone. Yeah, you see the title. It's a question that it's somewhat based on a question that another fan had at the MLP forum, and we asked that question with my take on it because I contributed to the topic, and I decided to take my answer and redistribute it on the Equestria Daily forum. This question is basically very similar to it. You know, will ships become canon in MLP FiM, My Little Pony? You know, it's a good question because ever since the show became what it is, they ended up getting this fan base, these bronies, these Pegasisters, to support one of the biggest topics out of this, or to come out of it, are relationships. Like, do you support this pairing? Do you think this pairing can work? Do you think this pairing cannot work? One fan asked if ships were ever going to be canon in the show. Now, I've made my own topics on this and everything. Why tease and hint at romance if you're not going to do anything about it? When I look at MLP, I understand why people will come out and either out of respect or discussion or debate the reasons why and why not. And like I said, I've given my own thoughts on it. This is what I said in response to that person that asked if ships would become canon in MLP. What I told them was flat out, if any kind of shipping or relationship were to become canon in the show, they would become canon during the last season. Like, in my opinion, I feel that they're going to try to go a decade's worth with the show. They're going to try to go a whole decade. I've told them that, in my opinion, I think the show, if they do bring relationships to the forefront, especially for the main six down the line, that it'll only occur and become a big deal, become official for them and all that in the last season. Because you've done everything you can with these characters. You've gone to every part of the world, and you know what do you have? So what is next to it? I mean, obviously we kind of have an idea of what may happen in season 8, and that's all up to what the writing staff plans to do. I mean, I basically said in the audio video that if the writing staff executes this arc or this plot that they got going with Chrysalis, who's coming back in season 8, if they execute this right and make it a season-long arc that they can work with, really think through, really, you know, every 3 to 6 episodes, dedicate an episode to the arc to move it forward, then they're going to have something good on their hands. If they decide to hotshot it in the premiere, it's like, where do you go from there? It really doesn't make any sense. When I look at something like potential relationship happening for the main six, it's like I said, I feel that the most logical time, continuity-wise and story-wise, for that to become a thing for them would be in the last season of I believe will be a 10th season that they've accumulated and basically acknowledged it and referenced it. So now, you know, what's the logical step? And to me, it's obvious that they hint at relationships between characters, you know, between the main six and some male characters. Either we know who they are or we don't. They hint at them. They hint at it, and it's like, well, you're hinting at it, so why don't you go through it, right? My belief is, I think if they do it, it's going to happen in the 10th season, because where else are you going to go with these characters besides facing a new threat, a new villain, and what could possibly be the last season of the show? What else can you do? The obvious solution, in my opinion, is you got to introduce the romance. Then why haven't you gone and fully introduced it here? And I'm not saying that they haven't, but to a point that you know something's going to happen between one of them and the male love interest. Here's the thing. Some people were happy at the fact that Big Mac got a love interest this season. Now, we're not sure if Sugar Belle is going to remain on as his love interest. Everybody will say, well, the reason Cherry Lee didn't work out is because that was a love potion. Cherry Lee was because of a love potion. Good point. But how do we know Sugar Belle will? You know, some people say, well, the Cherry Lee thing was all because of a love potion. That's true. It was. How do we know Sugar Bell's going to last? That's the question. How do we know it's not just going to be something that he goes through, and then all of a sudden they go their separate ways, and now he has to find somebody else? You know, he may have gotten a girlfriend this year, a love interest, potentially a new reoccurring character. How do we know she's going to be sticking around? We don't. We don't really know until the writers themselves give us an indication that she's going to. Another thing as well about the fact that I believe 10th season, that the final season, again, like I said, what else are you going to do with these characters? You know, what else do you got in store? What else do you got planned for them? To me, it's like you don't really have much else to go with, and besides, there's a lot of potential of introducing characters, newer characters in, to kind of become those love interests. You introduce them in the last season, they become the love interest. You at least establish maybe for an episode or so. Let's say Applejack's with the girlfriend of a new character or an established character, and you use maybe one episode or two to establish that. Use one to establish the relationship, and then, like I said, off to the races you go with her and her new love interest. Because at least you're dedicating time to it. But you're at least letting people know that, yeah, she has a boyfriend now. Some people are saying Rarity is going to have a potential love interest in Capper come the movie. I told one person that mentioned this, I said, where's the evidence of this? Where's the proof? There's no evidence or anything that that's going to happen in the movie. Just like a lot of people say there's no evidence that Spike and Rarity will ever officially become a pairing, same here. You have no visual or acknowledgement from the creative staff that that's going to happen, because obviously it's not. I mean, yeah, you could probably tease at the fact that the way he looks at her, you know, how he's right next to her looking down while he's clapping. The truth is, he's looking down at the ponies. He's not just looking down at her. And if he was a potential love interest, why isn't he always there with them, side by side with her? I think people just want to come up with any kind of excuse not to make a Rarity Spike situation a reality. And that's okay, that's their money. Let's say she does. Let's say the writing staff says, you know what, the heck with it. It's the final season, let's put her with Spike. Just like with Applejack, all they would have to do is dedicate an episode or two, and there you go. At least you establish that they are together, but you're not pushing. Same with Rainbow Dash. Same with Rainbow Dash. Finally acknowledge that fans want her with Soren, and you make that happen. 1 or 2 episodes, not back to back, but once in a while. Like the first episode where it becomes official happens, or you're building towards it, you're acknowledging it, and then maybe a month or so later you release another episode, maybe where they officially become a pairing, because at least now you acknowledge, hey, Rainbow Dash is with Soren, there you go. Same with Fluttershy and possibly Discord. You know, people have always said it's pretty much canon anyway. Yeah, but there's no official. You could use an episode or two to really establish that, okay, the friendship has gone beyond friendship. And there you go. Same with, let's say you want to do Pinkie Pie and Cheese Sandwich. 1 or 2 episodes that season, there you go. And of course, same with Twilight and Last Century. They can make that happen with 1 or 2 episodes. My point is, any kind of romance, any kind of relationships are going to become official for the main 6. In my opinion, I think the best time is going to be the last season. When things get wrapped up, everything comes to a close, and we start building to the next MLP series. It's either a continuation of this one, or it's an all-new original idea, whatever it may be. I believe the final season is probably the best option that the creative staff would have for this, because everybody knows when something does officially come to an end and you're working on the final issue, or in this case a show, you could pretty much start doing things that you've been wanting to do for a while, because you won't have to worry about what comes afterwards. You won't have to worry about another season. In my opinion, the last season is probably the best option for romance to officially happen for the main 6. So that's when I think ships will become canon for the main 6 around the last season. That's all I'm going to say on it, folks. I got